Hi and welcome to this video. I'm glad that you are here and I would like to help you learn the design, and we are going to take a look at Figma interface today. I just want you to relax, enjoy, and yeah, just let's start. First of all, what I want you to do is download Figma like I do it here, because if you just use it as a website, it's not really comfortable to use it. So I would go to Figma, download it from Mac. In my case it's Mac, but maybe it's Windows for you. So go here, download it, and after you do that, just open Figma, and in your case you will not have anything right here like I do right now. What we have here is we have account. Probably you will just only have one account, but you can create several accounts. You can change the theme, light, dark. You can have some settings. You have your recent files, you have a search for files, and you have all your projects and drafts. In my case, I just have one project here, which is called design course, one lesson. I'm going to show you how to create this file. Basically, all you need is just maybe go to drafts or recent anywhere, and just to click create new and then create design file. This is just for presentations, and this is for creating some maps. So we need the design file. And here we can name it. We can do it by double clicking on it, or by going here and clicking rename. Just go here and, for example, lesson 1. I already created one here, which we can go to, because I already prepared some things for you. I have some pages on the left and layers. So these is pages. I have 2 pages. You can create a new page, name it, whatever you want. You can also double click on it, delete it. And you also have the layers here. So we are going to move from the left. The first tool is going to be move, and what we can do is that if we let's create something. For example, we are going to create this rectangle, and once we created the rectangle tool is now not selected. This tool is selected by default, and once you finish creating something, it will select this tool by default. So we can just move it, and not only move, we can change the size. Also, there is an option to change the corner radius with these small dots. But overall, yeah, you can also change the angle, rotate it, and if you use the shift button, whatever corner you will go for, it will change the dimensions in proportion that you already have. Next one is scale, and for that you need to press key. Whenever I want to scale something, the cursor will look like this, but if I press key, the cursor changes to this huge double cursor, and it shows you some menu where you can write manually how you want to scale it, or select how many times you want to scale it. For example, 2x, 3x. You don't have to press shift. You can scale the text. For example, you write some text. So let me write some text here. Make it a little bit bigger, like this. So, and for example, we want to scale it without going here. Yeah, we don't want to do it this way. We just press key and we can scale it like this. Next one is going to be the frame, and for the frame you would press the F on the keyboard. So on the right side, it shows you some presets. For example, you can go for iPhone frame. So the frame is basically your device, like iPhone, tablet, desktop, or it could be also paper. For example, some documents, A4, A5, or anything like that. It could be social media, posts, or story, or cover for Facebook, or anything. It could be Figma community also plugin. So yeah, basically what you would need mostly is iPhone. For example, usually you would create a design for this iPhone 13 mini, and you could just select it and it will automatically create you a frame. But you can memorize the frame size, for example 375 to 812, and you don't have to select it, you can just do it by yourself like this. 375 812. And here you can rename it, double click on it, or you can rename it also in layers by double clicking on it. So just rename it to, let's say, 375, and developers, they would take a look at the size, so they would know that what size is this. They don't need to know that which iPhone it is, like iPhone 13 or iPhone 10. They only need to know what size it is. So I like to name the frames, let's say home page, and then the size. It could be like maybe contact page, or it could be a screen, I don't know, dashboard or something. So I like naming it this way. This is the regular size that usually is created for the phone, and let's say for the desktop you would create, let's see what sizes they have. So we select this frame and go for desktop, and what we need probably is either this size MacBook Pro Air. So usually we create the design for the smallest size. So the iPhone 13 mini is one of the smallest devices right now that exist. There are some devices that are smaller, like iPhone 5, but less people use these devices, so we create mostly the design for most popular, the smallest device, which is iPhone 13 mini. It could be any device that is similar in size. But usually also people use either desktop. This is not a desktop, this is a laptop. It shows it as a desktop, but in general it's laptop size. Usually, mostly we create the design for this size, 1440, but the height is not correct. So what it shows you right now, the same is for mobile. It shows you the whole screen. Like if I zoom it in like this, in real life we have a browser, like here on the top you have something, people have this panel on the bottom opened all the time, so it all will take the height from your design. So how the real height usually for this laptop size is usually something around 765 or something. And the same for iPhone, usually it's something around 680 or 640, depending on the size of the phone. It could be iPhone 6, iPhone, I don't know, 7, 8, which is smaller and people still use it. But then, of course, if you don't have only one screen, for example, you have a content right here, so the content should be filled till this point. But then, if we press and drag this down by pressing, you can press Command and do this, or you can just do it without pressing Command, but I like usually to press Command and drag it, because sometimes when we have some frame settings here, the content will also move when you change the size of the frame. So I like always click a Command and then drag it. If you have Windows, probably it's going to be Control. And yep, so your website, it could be very long like this, but this is going to be your size of the first block, and then you will have your second block like this, and then again the third block. Again, you don't have all your blocks to be only this size. Your block could be like this size, like that, and depending on the design, on the style. But in general, you need to know that the user will only see this information on the first screen. When they scroll, of course, they would be like here, and then here, and then here. So this is the height only for this type of screen, which is this size. But if, for example, you create a design for let's do it like this. So this is going to make the proportions the same, keep the proportions. So the other very common size is this one, 1920. And for that, we can also increase this, and it's going to look like this. So for example, you can see that if we do the design for a bigger size, which is a real desktop, so this is the regular size display monitor, and this is going to be a laptop, and this is desktop, and this is a phone. So you would usually first create the design for this size, then for mobile, and then you could create this also version. But usually this version and this version, they are the same. The next option when you need a frame is when you need to place a photograph or icon or illustration inside. So for example, I will use a plugin, and let me maybe take some arrow, place it here. So as you can see, when I place it from somewhere, let's place it here. So it has a frame already. So this thing, which looks like this, you can see it's here. So this is a frame, and you can see that inside of this frame is an icon. Usually you would use the frame for the cases when you have several icons or images or something that you want to be the same size, but they could be different. Let's say I also want to have another icon, which is, I don't know, let's say face or something. So I want this icon, and I go inside and change it, pressing Shift Command R like that, and may point it to the center and scale it. Let's say I want to scale it, so you can see it's also in a frame in a frame. To delete the frame but keep the icon, I use Shift Command G. So I delete the frame, but the content inside of the frame, it saves. Shift Command G. But not all icons or illustrations would be square like that. Some of them would look maybe like this, but this is going to be like almost a square. So for the cases when you have one object that is, let's say, looks like this, like logotypes of companies, not all of them are square, you know, some of them are very wide, some of them very, I don't know, thin. So for this case, you want something around each icon or illustration that is the same size. So this is going to be this size, 256, and this is going to be 256. But the content inside, you can see it could be 236, but this is going to be 152. So the content inside is different size, but the frames are the same. This is why you need to use a frame around any picture, icon, illustration, photograph, anything like this, to keep the size of all of the things the same. Let me show you like a photograph or something. So let's go here, copy an image from here and paste it. So we just press Command V, press it here. So what if we want this image to crop it? There are two ways to crop it, but let's say we want to do it with a frame. So we just press Option Command G and we create a frame. Option Command and G at the same time. We have a frame and the picture sits inside of the frame. So we can click here, Clip Content, and which will allow us to, if we change the size of the frame, the picture will cut. But in general, the picture, if we click, it will still be the same. So for example, let me take it and move it somewhere else. Let us copy it. So we press Shift Option to copy it within the horizontal line. And then let's press Shift Command G to delete the frame around the content. So here you can see we copied this, and which means that this picture is the same as this. So even though we can change the size of the frame, and it's clipping whatever is inside of the frame. It could be text, it could be picture, it could be anything that you place inside of this picture, inside of this frame, will be clipped by the frame. So we can change the size of the frame like this. Also, there are some settings of the frame. So if we click on the picture, we can set where the picture sits inside of the frame. So right now it's going to be placed to the top and to the left, as you can see, left top. So if we scale this, like from this angle, you can see that the picture is going to be connected to the left and to the top. But if we do it like, let's say from this angle, still you can see the same. So you can play with these settings. You can press on picture like this, double clicking like that. If you want to go inside of the frame, you can double click and open the picture, or you can use a command or control on Windows and click command and click on the picture. This is how you can get inside of the frame, just by pressing command and pressing on the picture. And then, for example, you want it to be centered, you just click 2 times to select 2 points. So it was like here, you press 1 time, it will select you 1, and then you press another time, it will select you another 1. So right now it's centered. If I do something with the frame, I change it, the picture stays in the center. When you want to cut the picture like this, you can also move the picture. So if you press on the picture, you can move it inside of the frame. And if you don't want the frame to clip it, you just press no clipping. The other way how you can crop a picture is the second way, double clicking on picture, and you have some menu here. And here you can set crop and then move these angles like that. And then you just press double click somewhere else, and the picture is cropped. If you double click it again, you can see that you can change it back. When you would want to use frame is when you need the picture to be a certain size. Then cropping is not super a good option. But I also use cropping. How also you can crop something is by hovering your mouse over the edge of the picture and pressing Command or Control on Windows and drag the picture. This is how I do it because I don't like double clicking and choosing crop and then doing something with this. I like to do it like quickly like this. So this is how you use the frame. What's next? Selection. Selection, you use it for example, we created some page. Like we created this page and we want to name this contact page. So you created a desktop version of this page and you created a mobile version. Maybe you have some illustrations that you want to place somewhere here that are also related to this contact page. And maybe you have, I don't know, some information on here, I don't know, let's imagine that this is some information here, some text or something, you would want to leave it here. And yeah, so anything that is related to the same kind of information like contact page, you just do it here. But then you created another page that is called, for example, home page. And then you did the same for about us, I don't know, about page. And so if I move it here, like this. So you have the selection tool is just for grouping together things that are related to each other. This is it. This is how you use it. And what's also a good thing is that you can always change this to frame, for example, or you can change it to group, like this. As you can see, the group doesn't have a name. You don't see the name anywhere, but if you change it to frame, you can see the name of the frame. And if you change it to section, the section will have this name even like highlighted with the background, and usually it will by default have this gray color. Next one is going to be our tools like rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, polygon, star, and image. So the square or rectangle, I like to use it for measuring things. For example, I want to know how much space is between this object and this, but this is a picture, I can't measure it using the Figma. So in this case, I might do it like that. I might place it right here, like this, and then right here, the second edge. And then I can see, okay, this is this size. The same is for line. You could use it for things that you want. For example, the rectangle, you could change the size of it like this, but the line doesn't have the fill. The line is only has stroke around. So you can see that the line is still thin, but it has like some stroke around it. And the same with arrow. I might use it for connecting some things for developers, for example, to show in the flow. First you have the picture, I don't know, then if you click on the picture, then you will see this weird rectangle in the middle or something like this. You know, I can write some text here. You can create an icon like that. Next one is going to be ellipse. This is good for, let's say, things like if I want to create a mask, which means that I want to use this as a frame for my picture. To create a mask, what you do is you take the picture, place it over the circle. So right now you can see that in the layers, the circle is on the top as we created it as a last object. Always the last things that we create, they will be in the top. So how we do it, we can just move this, drag it over here, and you can see it's over it. Or we can just simply, let's put it where it was. How I like doing it also is I like using keyboard. I press Option, Command, and the bracket, and it puts the layer or the object in the highest place in layers. And then I need to select with, also this tool is not only move, it also selects. So I can do it like this, selecting this, and then I select also the picture. So you can see that two of these things are selected. And then what I do, I move it a little bit closer, I select them, and then I press Ctrl Command M. And then if you select the picture, you can move it like this. You can scale it down like this. You can rotate it. And the same thing you can do, let's say, with this tool. You can copy the picture from here, Command C, you select the picture, and let's just place it here. And what we can do the same. We place our picture above our object, Option, Command, and the right bracket. And we select both of them and press Ctrl Command M. And here we have the same thing. So we can also move it like that. And for example, in this case, our shape, polygon, let's create it again. So we create it. We can create more points than 3. And also there is like 2 dots like that, which you could use for changing the number of angles also. And the other dot is for changing the radius. And with the circle or ellipse, how to create it, if you just press ellipse and start creating it, it will just create an ellipse. For creating a circle, you have to press Shift like this, and it will create a circle. And the fun thing about circle, is that not only you can use it like a mask, but you also can change this thin if you drag it like that and use it for creating diagrams. So you can change the angle, you can change this. Also, you can notice that this is changing also here, so you can control it right here as well. And yeah, you can create like this, for example. And also one cool thing is that you can do it this way, so it's a perfect tool for creating diagrams. So you can move this. As you can see, you can also round the corners. You can make this bigger, like this, smaller. You can rotate it, you can fill it. Next thing what we have is a star. Star is also cool because you can change the number of points that it has. 4, 3, 4, and more, like this. It creates this cool circle. Maybe you have seen it on some designs somewhere. And also you could change this by dragging it like that. You can change where the center is, and then you can change the radius. It doesn't really show you. Yeah, like this. So if you do it like this, you can change the radius. You can play with this, yeah, as you want. You can create like weird shapes. Could be anything. So you just should know that this is available here as a star. Again, you can place a picture above it like this and create a mask also the same way, like this, and have some fun with this. So this is a mask. Also cool thing that you can create a star with a star, obviously, and which is cool. You just create a star, you just do some rounding of corners, and here you go, you have a star, and you can create a half of the star, for example. You can create a rectangle, for example, like this. This is one way, so you can see that the lines show you that this is placed right in the center. What you can do is subtract. We are going to talk about all these things later because they are also useful. This is more for graphic design, but I always use them for combining or for subtracting. And here you go, you have a half of the star. What you can do, copy it, double click, and flip it horizontally, like this. Connect them, and here you go. This could be, for example, I don't know, another color, or it could be, for example, a line, a stroke like this. And so the color is different, but in general you could choose this and pick this color like that. And here you go, you have a star, and you can, for example, do rating. The other thing with this shape, we can select text, press, and write something. And then what we can do with the text, if we want to edit the shape of the text, we can go for this object and then go to outline stroke, press it, and right now we have a group of objects that are separate. And for example, we can select the S, double click, and we have this. We are able to change these points. We can move them like this. We can also move these weird things, which show the way. So we can edit something and create some, I don't know, cool logo out of this. Instead of using the default font, we can play with it and create something interesting. We are designers. Yeah, and by combining it in one shape, not like a group like this, we can also flatten the selection object and flatten selection. And right now this all is one huge object, even though it's not connected to each other, but it's still one object. If we go back to our tools, next one is a pen and pencil. So the pen, you can place a dot anywhere. Like I click it, I pressed a dot, and I placed a dot here. So what I can do is I can create a shape that will connect the dots, like a first dot, the second dot. You can see that there is a line. but still I haven't finished doing the shape. To finish the shape, I need to close it to place the last dot in this place where I started. So for example, I can create some shape like this, and what I have to do, I have to close it like this. I can just, I don't know, create some things like that and then press done. So then I will just have a shape like this. You can create shape like this. And then you could edit it, is you can press this, press on the dot, and it creates these lines that you can control. You just can do editing like this. So any dot you have, you could change it by going back to this. You can move this. You can hide one of them by, for example, clicking on option. You can do things like that, move, and then you can hide one of them. And the second one is still available. So it's a very, very large tool. I like to use this when, for example, I have a picture again, some picture like this, let's copy it. And maybe I want this dot to cut it. I can use the frame. So what I do is by pressing on the dot and not leaving it and dragging, I can create these lines. Then connect these dots like that, and in the end I can create this shape. Then I would again place the picture over it, select both of them, let's delete this, select both of them and create a mask. I can go here and edit like this. So I can, for example, maybe I want more of this. This is how I usually would use it. You can do the same with the text. So you have text and you can also edit it like letters, like this. So right now, imagine that you created this shape and then you can edit it like this. But yeah, next thing what we have is the pencil. This is just a pencil. And what it does, it creates one huge line like this with a stroke. And you can control the stroke. I never use it for drawing like some drawings, some pictures. You can play with it. And next one we have text. Text is very simple. You can either do it like this and then write some text here and it will fill it like that. And it shows that this is the fixed size container. I usually never use it like this and never create text with this option. So I would delete it and I would usually start by just click on the text and write whatever you want. I would maybe, if I need to break it right here, I would just do it like this. So I use the second option, auto hide. So I never use the fixed, almost never. Sometimes, of course, you use all the options, but I would say that I use different methods of controlling the size of the text instead of using this, and I will talk about that later. I use the auto layout, which means that I create the same thing that is similar to the frame, but it has settings to it. I press Shift and A, and it creates a frame. But this frame is not, as you can see, it doesn't look like this. It looks like this, like lines. So, and if you hover over it, it says auto layout, and it also says it here in settings. Then this frame, I like changing the frame, for example, and then the frame I would use to control the size of the text container. You have some settings in text, of course. You can change the font to, like, let's say Helvetica, I don't know, Times, anything, Arial, anything. And I usually use Helvetica for all things I do, mostly. Helvetica New, Helvetica Display. Next one, you have the weight. So it could be light, as you can see, it could be bold, it could be something in between, middle. Mostly I would use like medium, regular for all the things. And then what you have is, if you have several lines of text, you have this a line height, a space between the lines of the text. So right now I have it in percent. I like using percent, so like you can see that the height between the lines, but the spacing is increasing if I increase this. If I make it smaller, it's going to be smaller. For you, for the beginners, I would always recommend to keep it in auto, because it would be how the people who created this font wanted it to look like. And then you have the space between the letters. So between these, C, an S, an O, a D, so you can make it bigger, make it smaller. I would always recommend to keep it in auto as well, not auto 0. Also, the text could be aligned to the right, to the center, and to the left. I would recommend you just to keep it left aligned. But again, if you want to play with it, of course, you can do whatever you want. It's just something that is like a basic setting, auto 0, left aligned, and you will be perfect. This is something like where the text is aligned. So for example, if we make this as a container like this and stretch it, so the text will be either aligned to the top of this container, center, or bottom. Next thing you have here is that you can choose things here. There are so many things, and yeah, you can underline text, you can cross the text, you can make the text all uppercase or lowercase, starting with each word starting with uppercase, or just keep it the way you want. So you can manually choose the letters that you want to be big, large, uppercase, small, lowercase, yeah. And also you can crop this text container like this. In this case, it adds a little bit space. Sometimes I don't mind having the space, it's not important. But sometimes I want to know what's the distance between the pixels. Yeah, sometimes it's important. This is just for bullets, bullet lists, number list. Yeah, this one is for example, when the text is longer than the container, it will automatically add 3 dots in the end, automatically truncated. What else? Here we have the plugins, components, plugins, and widgets. For widgets, what I like using is checklist or something like this. Just click on it. Okay, it's here, it's very small. So you just add like some tasks for yourself, you write a checklist, add another task. Sometimes I like using them, sometimes I create my own checklist like manually without the widget. I just write things like by hand like that and keep them like this. So, and then I may, for example, cross one when I finished it. So what you have components here. These are just components that will be shown here from connected libraries. Plugins, for example, icons. And here is the list of plugins that will allow you to work with icons. You can go to this plugin, like this one, for example, that I use. You can click on it and it just shows you all the icons. This is the website, which is as a plugin connected to Figma. So you can search for icons, again, like face, and just copy paste it, drag it and drop like this. And next one is the widget. You can take a look what widgets are available. There are many widgets, but most of them are not very useful. I usually use checklist. You can also find these things here, explore community, and you can search for already created things like mobile apps. Someone have created some free file like this. You can open it and you can take a look how they created components, for example, how they created the screens, what size of the text they used, what colors they used. They used the variables like that. so you can take a look how people create the like mobile app screens, what size they use. You can see 375, the common size. You can see that this like purple color means that this is a component. And yeah, I will talk about this later. It's a huge thing, but you can see how they did it, what size of the button they use, what size of the text they use, what color of the button they use. So you can just maybe simply like just copy this, paste it to your design, and here you go, you already have a template for your design. And this is just for free. You can go here, go to just resources, search something here like a mobile app or iOS templates, iOS icons, anything like this. There are so many things from everywhere. Just use this as your first things to start with, because it's very hard to create something from scratch. So next one is going to be hand. Basically, this is just for doing like that. Just hit space, press it, and you have the hand. If you don't have a touchpad, yeah, if you have a mouse. And the comment is you can leave a comment to someone. For example, you can leave a comment that, for example, here, I don't know, for example, you have some person like Tina. I don't know, I don't have any Tina in my team or anywhere, that's why it doesn't show no people for Tina. But imagine there is someone with the name Tina. You just use this shape and say them, what is the discount for this one? I don't know. And if there is a like person on your team, they will have a notification sent on their email and also in Figma, and they will be able to go to mails, open it, and they will show that, okay, Evgeny Vedmedev, he left a comment in this file on this screen here, and they will be able to chat with you here. They would say like, I don't know, they would select me here, and they would reply, oh, yeah, this is going to be blah blah blah. Yeah, so, and they will reply to me. And so that's how you can chat with like your clients, your team members, whoever, developers, other designers. This is how you can do it. This is very cool way. Next one is going to be this section where we can rename the file, duplicate the file if we want. We can move the file to other project folder, something like this. We can also delete the file. Yeah, this is probably it. Also, the very important tab is show version history. Is that I can click, for example, here and see what it looked like before on July 30. Yeah, we can see how it looked at that time, and if we did some changes in the file and we just simply can't go back by pressing Command Z, we can open the history and we can click here and duplicate this as a file. So you will have the file which will be opened at this stage in time. So if you have something important here that you deleted and you want to restore it, you either can restore this version, but I would recommend duplicating it, because if you restore it, it will delete all the things that you did after that, which we don't want to do. We created a page, the next page, and 5 more pages, and then we realized that when we created the first one, we had a cool picture, but right now we deleted it for some reason, and we want to have it again. But if we just restore it, we will delete all the pages that we created. So we just duplicate this file of this version, and when we duplicated it, we go to this file, copy whatever we need, and paste to this existing file, and we can then delete this duplicated version. So this is very useful. Yeah, next one we have is this thing where we will see people, like right now in the file, I only have myself, so this is only me. But if someone else will visit this file, you will see a picture of someone else, and you can, by clicking on the picture of the person, you will be able to see where they go. So imagine that someone is working on the file, and you will be able to see their cursor and what they do. So you will just sit like that, and on your computer you will see that they are going from a page to page, doing something, changing something like this. This is a very cool way to spotlight someone, to follow someone. And for spotlighting, spotlight means that you are going to be like similar to like live in like on social medias, like in TikTok, Instagram. You can go live and people can follow you. They can also see what you do. I never use this. And then the other thing is this one, which is only available in professional, is an option to be able to have calls in Figma. You just simply press on this icon and you are in the call mode, and someone else who is also in the file can also press this icon and they will automatically join the call with you. This is a very cool option. Another hidden cool option is when you press this button slash, you can start writing something. You can then press somewhere else like that and it will disappear. So you can press this, write hey, and someone else will see your cursor with this text. How are you? Yeah, and you can, I don't know, write some jokes, write wherever you want. Of course, you can always open your messenger and write it there. But for example, you might write something here if you want as well. This is the development mode. It's cool for developers to take a look at things with spacing. For example, they can open this file. Doesn't show anything here. Okay, it doesn't work because don't know why, but it doesn't matter. We are not developers. We don't need this mode. If you want to check it out, just go ahead, see what developers use. Next one is libraries. This is something that we can connect. For example, we can create a library with icons. We just can create icons, text styles, and color styles, components, and leave it in another file, not here. So for example, things like, I don't know, this, like this icon, or this is like actually a radio button. It, for example, if we click on it, we can go to this library where it's from, where it was created. So we can see that it's created right here. This is the original component, but we can use it in our file just because we simply copy pasted the screen out of this file to here. So right now we are able to go to this library, go to main component in library. Yeah, and so this button shows us the libraries which are connected to our file. This is pretty important if you work in a company, but right now, if for you as a beginner, you don't really need to focus on this too much. And this is going to be prototyping mode. For example, if we want this screen, let's say we can copy paste it like this, and we make this color like white like that. So let's just do like this quickly. So for example, we can connect in prototype mode. This is this design mode, and the prototype mode, we can click on the screen, and on the plus we can connect this and this screens like that. So you can see we can disconnect them and we can connect them. And here we see that on click, when we click on this screen, we will navigate to this screen. So right now they are named the same way. Let's name them 1 and 2. So right now if we press on the arrow, we can see that it navigates to subscription plan 2, which is this one. By clicking on this one, we will go to this one. This is just an explanation, it's very simple, but again, and how we will do it instantly. So instant, without any animation, let's say. And so yeah, this is it. So if we press on this icon, play, or if we press on this icon, present, we will open a separate window, separate tab. Let's do a different way, not clicking on the whole screen, but we will select this small thing and connect it to the second page by clicking on it. And we will do the same for this one. We will select it and connect to this page. Also, the settings is the same. So you can see 2 arrows and open it. So as you can see, if we hover over this item, it shows us that it's clickable. It's like a link. So we click on it, it stays blue. And we click on it again, it selects it and deselects it. So this is how you do the prototypes and the presenting. So you can present it in a little preview like this. If you like, it works also here the same way. And the next one is just the zooming in, so you can scale something. So if you zoom in, you can see the percentage is going up and down. Yeah, here what else? The grid, pixel grid, layout grid. This is something that I use all the time, is Shift G. For example, if you press Shift G, but right now we don't have any grids. So if we, for example, press here at a grid like this, we will then see this grid. We can customize this. For example, I usually use columns for mobile, and gutter I use 16, and margin I use also 16. This is usually how I do it. So yeah, and then you have this grid, and if you want to deselect it, you press Shift G to show it and hide it. And basically this is it for now. For this lesson, it's very long, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Thank you, bye.